Hello, everyone, and welcome to Groovy Duke, your channel for all things groovy-lang. If you find any of these videos useful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share so that more people can have a groovy day. So today we're going to be going over maps within Groovy. So let me get myself out of the way. We'll go down to the Groovy console, and I'm just going to copy over a little bit of Java code this time. This is not, anything too complicated. So the basic, we have map, and we're creating a new hash map the way you would do it within Java. And then we're doing map.put, map.put. I didn't use the generics, by doing something like, what would it be? If I got it right, string, comma, string. But you could put that in there if you wanted to. Um, and basically, we're just gonna do an iterate over that, getting the key list, so going through each of the keys and then printing out the key and the map.get key. So if we run this and compilation error, yeah, it might help if I could actually type. Was it that one? Yeah, it was that one. And spell correctly. So basically, you can see we got the keys and values printed out here. Nothing too big, but you have to do the mapped output each time, kind of like with the lists where you have to do things over and over again. And wouldn't it be nice if we had inline maps as we did lists? So I'm gonna paste in some groovy here, and you can see we have just that. So similar to the list, we use the square brackets. So we have an open bracket to note the beginning and a closing square bracket to note the end. And basically we have key colon value, key colon value. So for this, one thing I'll say is if you have just like, two key values, putting them on one line's fine. But I'd say anything over three, you might want to do multiple lines, as you can see down here with this example, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. So another thing you can do is you can also, for the keys, you can take out the quotes and it'll be just fine, and it'll take it and it's like it'll just treat it as if it was a string. And if I run this, you'll see all this gets printed out, which I didn't run this previously, but it runs the same way either way. So I'll put these back here and run that just to show that it runs the same regardless of whether you have those quotes for the keys or not. Values, you'd still have to use quotes for strings. Another thing that you can do is if you had like say and this will be like an extra thing you have we'll just do def v equals, I don't know, we'll just do some string. It doesn't matter what it was. Say you wanted that to be your key. What you could do is go up here and we'll get rid of this and we'll just do parentheses v and run that. And if I scroll up in the thing, you'll see that this string actually became the key for that value there. So it's one of the things that you can do that's a little bit more dynamic. I wouldn't expect you to have a lot of use of this right out of the gate starting with Groovy, but just be aware it is something that you can do. So I'm just going to undo this and get rid of that. So we'll get back to what we had before. Run that. So just as you have with lists, you also have .each on maps, so you can iterate all over them, and you can have it.value or it.key and it.value and print those out. And as you can see, it prints those two out here. And then what you can also do is you can also specify the variables and override them just as you can do with lists. You can also put types in here if you want, and if you're doing more production code, I would say use types because it's it gives you better IDE integration, better kind of documentation, and if you ever want to statically compile, it avoids some of the issues that you would have to like clean up otherwise. So you have that for iterating. And say you wanted to actually set a particular value, you can do map dot whatever the key is. So this is key 3, which we don't have a key 3. So we're setting key 3 to value 3 and then printing it out. And as you can see here, now we have key 3 equals value 3. So, this allows you to set like new things, and it'll allow you to override like old things as well. And you just do dot whatever the thing is. And, whatever this text is, it kind of just treats it as like a string key, and that becomes your key. So that's a nice nicety within Groovy. Another thing that you can do is you can also use square brackets, kind of like how you can with lists. You can use the square brackets and put a key in there. Here I'm just doing a plain string, so key 4 equals value 4, and if you print that out, we get key 4 equals value 4. Same, similar to what I showed with the above with doing parentheses, we can also have it the key reference a variable and say that that key equals value 5. And in this case, where did I set key? Oh, I set it up here. So key equals key 5. So you can see here we have key 5 equals value 5, and that prints out. So and like I said before, if you have a lot of elements, using instead of putting them on one line, breaking them up into multiple lines makes them a lot easier to read. And in IntelliJ, there is a setting where you can have things all aligned by the colons, which it just makes it a lot easier to read. So that's something you can do. And that's pretty much all I have for you with to do with maps. So have a groovy one.